Welcome to my energy update. So this is a little bit of everything really, a bit of post-Capricorn full moon info. And I just want to share with you that there's 3 versions of me that will share with you at certain times. I will only come and report back to the group either before an event, because I know it's going to be really, really intense and I'm giving you a major heads up as to what I'm feeling. Or I will report when I'm actually in the eye of the storm, actually out there in the fields, while the storm's going on, and I haven't been wiped out too badly that I'm able to kind of like, do some kind of like transmission, right? Or there's a third version of me, which basically you don't hear anything from me. I've gone quiet and I'm more of benefit in my reporting skills after the event has come to pass. This is basically one of those times because I waited for the Capricorn moon to kind of move through, went into my hermitoid status, which I'm usually in most days anyway, but I really cranked it up to level 5 this time. And I went into my quiet space to just receive, be still, listen, all of the things. So that is a very, very powerful version of receiving, which is part of what this video is all about, how far we have come as in being able to call it and give ourselves what we need in the instant moment, instead of pushing on through and suffering and just, I don't really want to do that, but I have to do it because I'm people pleasing or whatever it might be. But when we're now calling it and saying, right, I'm going to be still while this moves through, it's a great thing because that's the divine feminine at play, which means you're seeing to your needs first, which means you're receiving. So now, before I enter into the energy update, I would like to just bring into the energy of Sekhmet. So we have the Sekhmet pilgrimage on the 15th of May, 2026. And this is really actually a big part of this energy update because Sekhmet, as we know, she's calling her children home. Now, gone are the days where we are intensely buried underneath shadow work now because we're starting to get the memo. There was nothing actually for us to understand or go and fetch or get. It was just about breaking up the big layers and taking away more than actually putting in. As we took the layers off one by one by one, the great reveal comes online. And then we start to like really see our own magnificence like in the world because we've got all of these layers that have been transmuted. So that's very, very Sekhmet energy. So we've been very much in the shadow realms, clearing. But now, Sekhmet, divine synchronicity, Marie took a break from Egypt this year, but she is very much getting back into it, sacred missions and expeditions for next year. And look at the synchronicity of that. Sekhmet has now said, right, now is the time to do this group. She's already called in those that she wishes to basically walk with her in May. She made it very clear that that's what's gone down. So she'll visit you in your dreams, synchronicities in all sorts of ways. And it's not for us to go there broken. She's calling us up because we're upholders of Ma'at. And she's like, you've done your time, okay? There are many of you that need to understand who you are and to ignite the flames of Sekhmet, to ignite the waters, or rather stimulate the waters of Hathor and come into that divine balance and claim your sovereignty, claim your space. So as we move through Lion's Gate, which we're very, very, very much going into that energy now, it's all about sovereignty, royalty, power, presence, strength. That's what the Lion energy is all about. So next year, she is calling you to step up and step in to do with your divine plan. What is your divine plan? What is your purpose, right? Which brings me beautifully into point number 1 about the post energy of the Capricorn moon. What exactly was that all about? So we have Capricorn, which is very, very much to do with no emotion. Capricorn is very practical, very much divine masculine. Then the moon is very emotional, very, very divine feminine. So the two don't really go together, as some astrologers were saying. But I was like, well, maybe they actually do, because like you have this deep intuition, divine feminine, and that powerful intuition needs to be held in some kind of practicality. So my question to you, and this is what I have deemed to be true with the energies of this full moon, is what is your divine plan? Does your divine plan, what's your plan? What's your mission? Does it match up with the energy that you hold within? Are you thinking along those lines? Is your energy invested in that? It may be so simple just to pick up a pen and then start to write about where you want to be in the next 6 months. I know that I was already feeling that a week before this moon kicked in, because I was like, right, sacred missions and expeditions needs to now blossom and go into something much bigger. I want to do there's so many different types of tours that I want to hold. Isis tours, Sekhmet's already underway, Mount Sinai, there's all of these creations that have been percolating within me for a very long time. And now it's all the fear is kind of like releasing, and I now get a clear vision. It's now time to actually pluck the low-hanging fruits off the tree and start to action what my heart's desire is, because I now know like that I am supported as above, so below, so within, so without. And I'm going to get into that in a minute, because I want to talk about the three dimensions, meaning the stars, the middle world, and the underworld, and how far we've come. And I think the Capricorn moon, the timing of us moving through this moon, actually echoes the fact that we've cleared so much fear out of our space that we are now able to access and want to willingly step into the plan. Because before it was like so far away, and we can't do that because of this, our perception was wrong. And now we've cleared. We're now starting to see, as each day goes by, how divine we really are and how capable we are, and how this can, whatever it is in your heart's desires, it is actually doable, completely doable, right? So my question is does your divine plan match your energy? You know what I mean? Where are we going here? And do you even know what that plan is? So like I say, probably good to take pen to journal, right? Point number two, where are you giving your power away still? Okay. This is very much the subject matter of a previous video. Your direction in life, does it support your plan? Okay. So like, I'm going to give you an example of what happened to me over the Capricorn moon. I'm telling you now, I went through some shit. Right. So, and I didn't even leave my house. So basically, like, I was supposed to be flying out to the UK tomorrow, because it was on a request of my daughter, who was like, Mom, I miss you. And we all know how much grief Marie's gone through because her kids left home at the same time. And I just had this big void space. And oh my God, I was so sad that they left. So when Ava said to me, oh, Mom, I need you to come to England, but I want you to come earlier because I've got my Tablets of Light Avalon group in August. So I was like, I'll be there, baby. Don't worry. I'm going to come in, and I'm needed. I'm wanted by my kids. I went into all of that, right? So then I booked my ticket, no problem. Spoke to Ava, and she was like, well, I'm working. Complete flip mode. Like I'd been kicked in the stomach. And I was like, what, you mean you don't need me anymore? Because I was still living for my kids, you see. I was still waiting for that phone call so I could be of service, so I could have a purpose. And I can only have a purpose if my kids need me. It was that kind of stuff. Anyway, she turned around and she was just like, well, I'm working. And I felt like, I feel very sad with life. I sat there, had a few hot tears, and had a bit of a tantrum. Said fuck a lot. And then I actually realized, hang on a minute. Am I going to the UK to suit myself, or am I going there dropping everything to serve someone else's purpose? Who, by the way, has changed their mind now. Do you know what I mean? They don't need me as much as they thought they did. So that's what happened. So I basically sat there, I sucked it up, and I was just like, making decisions from a place of empowerment, meaning Team Marie or team everyone else before even get to me. So I changed my ticket, changed it to a week later, which, by the way, is suited me down to the ground, the best thing I could have ever done. And now all of a sudden the kids are like, so when are we going to see you? I'm like, well, I'm busy. As soon as I land, I'm going to Egypt, and then I'm going off to do my group soz. So it's like complete pendulum swing. I'll get to see my kids. No one was hurt in this experience. Do you know what I mean? Everybody was just kind of like went through growth. So like now it's kind of like both parties, that they realize that they can't just like phone me up when it's on a whim. And I also realize that I can't drop everything to go and like people please and be there and leave my post. So it was growth on both sides. So that was very interesting to me, because I didn't think that I was still holding on to my kids as much as I was. So in your life, okay, where are you still making decisions where you're giving your power away, and it's very subtle, and you don't realize that you're actually doing it until something plays out or you actually question it. So in every single thing, you're like, is that completely 100% going to suit me? Or is it not? It's not selfishness. That's awareness, because you want awareness so you can receive, right? So now the next point, which is what I mentioned at the beginning of the video, okay, kind of like, and it's going to lead into the Tree of Life video I want to do, which is going to be the next one after this. Moving freely without fear. Now, I had a bit of a thought the other day. Now, I know that we are shifting and changing. It's actually quite incredible. And, like I was actually thinking the other day, I was like, wow, my mission, my heart's desire is to be able to just basically take groups of people all over the world all the time and share my absolute excitement for sacred sites, ancient wisdom for modern day living, but full on, full out now. That's what I want to do. You know what I mean? I have no more restrictions in my life. Kids have left home. There's nothing holding me back, right? So now all of a sudden, I was like, yeah, I need to work and get towards that thing. And then there was a massive rush of energy that came in after that and just said, working towards what? You've already got it. And we always say that, don't we? Anything that your heart's desire is you're desiring it because you already have it. Because if you didn't have it, you wouldn't be able to have that feeling. Do you know what I mean? So when we go into manifestation mode, it's a case of calling something up, not in. So I was reminded of that. And I had this overwhelming feeling, like all of a sudden, lasted probably about 5 seconds, where I was like, moment of clarity. Why am I working towards something I already have? Huh? Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, making dinner and then going back into the kitchen and making dinner again and then making dinner again and making dinner again. Like, what? You already had a plate of food. What are you doing? So that was like, whoa. And it's like, that's what you're going to find, like kind of almost like glitches in your matrix where it starts to wake up and everything that we understand to know and be true is really coming into that embodiment phase where you're like, actually, I do have it. That's a bit of a silly thing. So illusion is going to start to show itself more and more and more as the layers come back, you know, and they fold back and they bring the big reveal. That's the craziness thing about this. We don't need to work towards something. We already have it. We are it. So what we're actually allowing right now is the layers just to dissipate, so we can actually see the truth of who we be. And we just got to keep doing what we're doing, right? So now I was sat with Nephthys and Isis and Hathor, which believe it or not, they're very underworld goddesses when they want to be. And they were showing me like, you know, what it is to be a master, to walk between worlds. Now we understand that that's between the dead and the living, but in absolute truth, Gospel of Marie, the way I understand it, and this is what they showed me when I was in channeled meditation with them, they showed me the 3 dimensions. And you know how I love a good ascension ladder first to understand how all of this works. Let's talk about the tree of life. I'm going to be talking a lot about this month. So we're going to put the roots into the earth, right? And then we have the trunk and the low-hanging fruit for Juicy July. That's where our manifestations happen. And then you have the branches in the sky, which is the cosmos, right? As above, so below, so within, so without. That's the true balance that's what we're working towards, right? Balance. That's the essence, okay? So they were saying to me, now that the place is like cleared without fear, you are willingly, as a master, free to travel. It's like you got a passport and a visa. You can go where you want, whenever you want. Whereas before, we were stuck in the stars and we were like, absolutely hell no. We're not going to go into the world because we're too scared of that. It's too much chaos. It's too stingy sore. Absolutely hell no. I'm not going into the underworld because that means I'm going to have to die and I'm really scared of the dark and the boogeyman. No. So we stayed in the stars. Over time, we now go, well, okay, we understand the death and rebirth kind of thing. All right, then I'll agree to go into the underworld. So when we came into the underworld, we agreed to die, which means it was a full acceptance of facing our shadow, which was scary as hell. But we kind of all went through it and we're like, but did you die though? Yeah, spiritually 1,000,000 times. Physically, no, still here. Right. So we're good to go then. So we've mastered the stars, come into the underworld. Wasn't that bad, actually. And now we've died. Okay, so we're totally fine with being reborn again. Okay, so if we're going to be reborn, where are we going? Middle Earth, baby. We can't be anywhere else, because if we want to actually experience our gifts and the magnificence of who we be, conscious creators, we can only do that in the middle world. So now do you see, like, since we've gone through all of this like layers and layers of fear, we're free to work, to move between the worlds at will. And now to really use them and be aligned with them so they can really serve as a purpose. So now, middle world, we're just vibing. What's the middle world look like to me? DJing, dancing, eating good food, love a good croissant with my coffee. You know, it's like, I love that. Love people, love vibing, love all the things, you know? So I'm now starting to get a real love and joy for just living. Juicy fruit, like I said, middle world. And now, like the stars, when I go and channel in the stars, love it. Love just vibing up there, but I know that I live here. This is where the party's at. And then to go into the underworld, it's not to be like stuck in Groundhog Day, shadow. I go into the underworld for rest and respite. Respite. And that's exactly what happened over the full moon. I called it and I was like, yeah, middle world. I'm just going to go into the underworld for a rest, actually. And I'm going to go and kind of like retract, as it were. And I'm going to just step back from the world and I'm going to go into the underworld for a few days. And I'm just going to hang out there in the womb and just chill out and just rejuvenate. And then I came back up. Here I am, giving you an energy update. So that's what I'm talking about. And the mothers showed me that if you scream out loud and go, ah, and you bring your frequency and voice out into the world, it will be heard and experienced in a certain way in this middle world. If you go underground, imagine going under the water now and letting out that sound, your frequency under the water, it's going to sound different. And if you go up into the stars, it's like you're going to sort of voice your energy and it's going to sound different again. All of these are different frequencies of you. And when you sound chant under there or here or there, it's all going to have a different purpose. And it's like now we are free to find our voice. And now we are free to release our frequency into the worlds. We're now going to be able to play and experience these different dimensions through our own frequency way better. So that's what they showed me. They showed me like going underwater and it's still the same voice. It's still you. There's just different versions of you, as above, so below, and within, without. So I thought that was very, very interesting because I couldn't have had a conversation about that before because I was too fearful, because I was too busy fighting going into one of these dimensions. And I think that that is what the Capricorn full moon has come along with, because we don't fear being in the middle world anymore. We don't fear going into the underworld anymore. Maybe some of us do. I don't, because I've actually died so many times that I'm still here. And I'm like, okay, that's what we're doing. So yeah, so that's my share for today. Basically, to round this video off, I think the big question is what's your divine plan? What's your plan now? What does it look like? Get practical with it. And is your energy matching that heart's desire divine plan? Because at the end of the day, if it's not, then you're going to understand why nothing's moving for you, right? And that is why, like I say, the Sekhmet pilgrimage is coming up when she's coming up. I look at this and I go, wow, the evolution of humanity. And now Sekhmet pops up in Egypt in May. And I'm just like looking at the timelines as I do, as to how we're going to work through all of this and where we're going to arrive at certain times. And I'm really quite blown away at the magic. And that just rounds off this video that we don't have to worry about anything, do we? Here we are freaking out, worried about this, that, and the other. And then all of a sudden we just arrive at the right time in the right place. So that's it. And that's all, really. So thank you for watching. Always from my heart to yours. Peace. And I'm back now until the next time I have to put the saucepan on my head. Anyway, I'll see you on the next video. Ta-ta.